This episode of the Reverend's Big Ol' Wall of Film is brought to you by Counting Worm Shop and the Reverend Jess Movie Drop Project. Check out the links in the description and support some local art that supports the show. Hey, do you want to watch a movie? Yeah, I do. What movie? The film we're discussing. The film we're discussing. The film we're discussing has its own special spot in the big ol' wall of films. The Reverend's Big Ol' Wall of Films. Greetings and salutations. I am Reverend Jess, and you are listening to the Reverend's Big Ol' Wall of Films, the self-indulgent one-man podcast from me, your host, Reverend Jess. Today, we are going to kick off this experiment in me doing a one-man show. I've kind of loosely done one for a bit, with the after-service special and the after-service show and things like that on my previous show, The Church Absurd, but, this is something different. This is me just taking the time and documenting the love of movies that I have and the love of movies in general, because I am a huge cinephile, if you will, which is always a very uncomfortable word because it sounds awfully close to pedophile, but that's neither here nor there. So for those of you that have no idea who the hell I am, maybe you heard about this show from a friend or anything like that, or maybe you do know who I am. Maybe you listen to The Fickle Fanboys or The Church Absurd or The Fatitude Era, one of those other projects that I've done. This right here is just me, and we are talking about the movies that I have in my movie collection, which is slowly but surely approaching 1,000 individual films. And this is me taking the time, taking a look, picking out a random film that I have, and, just talking about it. Talking about my opinions of it, talking about, my experience watching it for the first time, if I can remember it. In some cases, you will experience something on this show, which is my first-time reaction after watching it for the first time, because sometimes, you just buy movies because you've heard about them or because they have an actor that you appreciate in them. And I have quite a few of those. So, give me just a moment. I'm going to take a drink of my Dr. Pepper here, not a sponsor. The first thing we're going to talk about today is, of course, the new arrivals. Hey, guess what? I got some new movies going up on the wall today. This is what are the new arrivals on the Reverend's Big Ol' Wall of Films. When I talk about what movies I've picked up recently in the time since episodes, certain cases there won't be new arrivals if I'm recording multiple episodes at one time, which could happen. I mean, I have a lot of movies to get through. But, for those of you that don't know, the majority of my movie collection comes from secondhand stores like CD Game Exchange or thrift stores or even, old family videos, for those of you that still frequent those establishments. You'll know that whenever a family video gets a new movie in for people to rent, they'll order like 12 copies because they think that a lot of people are going to be wanting to rent it. And then slowly but surely they'll sell off their inventory. So quick tip for those of you that are trying to collect movies and want to collect newer movies on the cheap, wait for the family video sale. 9 times out of 10 you'll end up with a rental copy though. So if you're a big special features junkie like I am, definitely be aware of that. So, just recently, went to the old thrift store and I picked up a few classics. One of them, Charlie Bartlett with Anton Yelchin from 2008. Honestly, when I first saw that movie, I'll get into it more when we actually discuss that film, but when I first saw that movie, it really resonated with me. I think I was at the right point in my life to see that film. So, yeah, definitely a good one. I also picked up the theatrical edition of Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Definitely wasn't a fan of that movie when I first saw it when I was really young. But I'll be honest, after doing a rewatch that my girlfriend Ash had me do, it holds up. It's got some really great satire of not only NASCAR, but also conservatives. So that's always fun. Also picked up the unrated director's cut of Drag Me to Hell, because who doesn't love Sam Raimi? And even though that's not like his strongest outing, it's still a pretty good one. It still has a lot of the kooky moments that Evil Dead 2 has and things like that. Also picked up Johnny Depp's Blow, the movie about cocaine, so that's fun. This is a weird one that I mainly picked up because I remember owning it on VHS, but My Dog Skip with Frankie Muniz. For those of you out there, appreciate Frankie Muniz for everything he's done. Not only did he give us Malcolm, but he was also in Stay Alive, if you remember that movie. I also picked up a Masters of Horror short film called Family that was directed by Jonathan Landis. I picked up Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow in an out-of-print Paramount DVD. And it's funny because you look at older DVDs and they have those, the way that the artwork is on it, it's the same as like a PC CD game from like 1997. So that's always fun. I picked up the B Movie because, Thrall, the fucking meme, whatever. I also picked up David Fincher's The Game and Schindler's List, both of which I have not seen, believe it or not. Me being an obsessive movie fan, I have not seen Schindler's List and I have not seen The Game. So I'm excited to check those out for the first time because I've heard really good things about The Game. I've heard it's very cerebral, and I really like cerebral films. I also picked up Sharknado because it was $2, and it was really fun when I watched it for the first time, and it's definitely memeable for sure. I got the 30th anniversary edition of Jaws, a 2-disc special edition, with both discs for only $2. I got Paranorman, which I'm excited to show Ash because I really enjoyed Paranorman. I saw it in the theater, so definitely was a big fan of it. Kung Fu Panda 2, because I have Kung Fu Panda 1, and I'm a big Jack Black fan. You'll hear more about that later. And James and the Giant Peach, and Flatliners. So, yeah, those are just some of the newest arrivals. I'm pretty excited. Can't wait to put them in the shelf where they will sit inevitably until I decide that I want to watch them. So, yeah, that's all we have for new arrivals today. And, let's get into the main brunt of the show. For those of you that don't know, this show is not going to be very long, if you will. I'm trying to keep it half hour or less, mainly because people got shit to do, right? But yeah, so fair warning to those listening that may not have seen the film that we're discussing today, but it's we're doing spoiler talk here, all right? Everything from minor to major spoilers, we're going to discuss it. So just be prepared if you haven't seen this film, which realistically a lot of these films have been out for probably 20 plus years. So definitely get your shit together and go watch it. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, so let's go into the main brunt of the show. Let's go over to the shelf and pick something out and see what we want to talk about today.
Let me stumble over to the family room that's down the hall. Grab myself a movie that sits on the movie wall. It's the movie we're discussing, so just sit right back and chill. It's the Reverend and his big old wall of films.
All right, folks, I know exactly the film that we are going to be talking about today. It is one that I've seen many times and one that has a big place in my heart. Of course, it's the one and only New Line Cinema release from Red Hour Films. Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny, starring Jack Black and Kyle Gass. For those of you that don't know, Tenacious D is a real-life band that Jack and Kyle formed in 1990s, the early 1990s. Started playing shows and eventually put out an album in 2001 after an ill-fated HBO show, which is actually really good. If you are not familiar with it, you can pick up Tenacious D, The Complete Masterworks, which is a DVD that you can usually find on like Mercari or eBay or anything like that for like $5 to $10. And it's a really great DVD collection. It's got not only a full-fledged acoustic concert from them, but it also has the entire run of the HBO show, which only lasted 3 episodes. So definitely pick that up if you have a chance. It's definitely worth a watch. But anyway, after their ill-fated HBO show and their album in 2001, they began working on a feature-length film with the director of their music video for Tribute, which you can also see on Tenacious D and the Complete Masterworks. And that film was entitled The Pick of Destiny, which basically was meant to be kind of an origin story, but also it had potential to be a fantasy film. I know for a fact that like the first couple drafts were centered around like the Wonder Boy and Nasty Man character that they discussed in the first album. But yeah, it's the story of a young Jack Black who goes away from his Christian household, which is seen over by the patriarch Meatloaf, reprising a singing role, keep in mind, that he hasn't done since Rocky Horror, as a overly religious father, and goes off to Hollywood after receiving presumably a drug-induced vision from his Dio poster in his room to go find a partner in crime, if you will, and create the greatest band in the world. So he does so and goes out to find him after many years, discovers the one and only Kyle Gass, also known affectionately as KG in the Tenacious D fandom, and the storyline of this movie. But KG teaches JB the ways of rocking, and they try to put on the greatest show in the world, realize they can't do it without a mystical guitar pick known as the Pick of Destiny. And honestly, if you haven't seen this movie, I will tell you this. If you are not a Tenacious D fan, if you do not like Jack Black, you will fucking hate this film, I promise. In order to get the full enjoyment out of it, you really do have to be a Tenacious D super fan. But I feel like even if you're not completely tuned in to the Tenacious D lore and universe, you can still have a great time because it's basically a heist movie, which has a little bit of a bromance in it. And not only that, but it's very funny. There's some stoner humor. There is, some slapstick. There's, cryptozoology. There's some cryptids in the movie, of course. And not only that, but it's got an ensemble cast of like a bunch of Jack Black's friends. You got like Amy Poehler in there. She's in the film for like maybe a scene, if that. Like, she's just a side character. You got fucking Andy Dufresne, Tim Robbins. You got Andy Dufresne from fucking Shawshank Redemption in that movie. Once again, in like 2 scenes. Paul F. Tompkins reprises his role as the club owner from the HBO show. And Ben Stiller has a cameo as like a Guitar Center employee. It's a very, very star-studded cast that you just wouldn't expect. And what's crazy is, like, this movie was a total fucking flop. Like, literally, like, nobody went to see this movie. And what's crazy is I was so excited about this movie, and I couldn't even see it in theaters. I literally was too young to go see it in theaters, and my mother wouldn't take me to go see it. So, basically, after it came out in the theater, me, as a young 12-year-old kid at that point, maybe. I think that's 12 or 14, one of those two. I would have been 13 at that point because I was born in 92 and the movie came out in like November of 2006. But I literally stayed up till about 2 a.m. downloading it on a Wares site. If you remember what those are, before like torrenting got big, you would just go download a movie in like 8 parts that were in like RAR files, and you extracted it all at once and it made the full file. And I literally stayed up until 2 a.m. downloading it and then watching it when I was supposed to be like asleep. I had school the next day. And it's crazy because it's like I literally like that shitty bootleg theater cam copy meant so much to me. Like I've watched it I don't know how many times. And then eventually, for some reason, God forbid they take me to the theater to see it, but my parents were perfectly okay buying me the DVD when it came out in February of the following year. And once again, I sat down and I just watched it religiously. I watched all of the special features, which, keep in mind, the special features on this DVD, if you get your hands on it, really great stuff. Not only do you have like music videos and stuff, there's a whole behind the scenes featurette about the making of the soundtrack. There is deleted scenes and outtakes, and like it's incredible, great stuff. You want to talk about special features that they knew were for like the mega fans? It's all there, and it's brilliant. But yeah, I watched that fucking DVD so much that I just wore it out. Like it got to a point where like randomly, if I tried to put it into the DVD player, sometimes my shitty tube TV that I had in my bedroom would just like turn green. Like the screen would just like go all scratchy and green. And it's just nuts because like that's how much I watched that fucking DVD. And what was crazy is when I got clean, I spent a good 2 weeks just in my room wanting to die and watching The Pick of Destiny over and over, because it was sort of like something that I could focus on that wasn't wanting to die. And it's really dark. If you ever get clean from drugs, for those of you that are listening that have a serious drug problem and you really want to get clean, don't ever go cold turkey. But if you do, watch the Pick of Destiny. That's what I recommend. But yeah, realistically, The Pick of Destiny means a whole lot to me, and I think it's a wonderful film. You know, obviously, there's likes and dislikes. Dislikes would probably be like, there's some deleted scenes that, like, yeah, you can see it on the DVD, but you know, like, it would have been fine for them to leave it in, and you aren't sure why they cut it out. But the likes are, like, resounding. I fucking love Jack Black. I love Tenacious D. I literally love, like, the comedy. It never ceases to make me laugh. Even just like the small shit, like the side characters. Like there's one fucking moment where the security guard is like smoking weed, and he like they think there's an intruder, which there is, of course, but they essentially do like an Abbott Costello routine and like hide from the security guard. And then the dude like grabs his walkie-talkie. He's just like, I'm gonna go check out Punk. Are you stoned? Like, I'm so stoned right now. I am tripping. And it's fucking hilarious. I love it so much. God, I swear to God, I could literally sit down and watch Tenacious D like once a week for the rest of my life and have no issues with it whatsoever. I mean, you got fucking Dave Grohl playing the devil. You have fucking John C. Reilly, a pre-Walk Hard John C. Reilly, pre-Step Brothers John C. Reilly playing Sasquatch. And like, it's just like, there's a lot of great lines in this movie. There's a moment where like Jack is like pissed at Kyle and he's like, will you get your head out of the fucking pussy clouds, man? Like, Like, the way that he says it is just fucking hysterical to me. But all in all, I love that film so much. And if I had to give it a rating, if I had to sit down and really, like, think about it, I mean, I got to give it a resounding 5 out of 5, and which I'm pretty sure that's what I gave it on Letterboxd. For those of you that don't know, you can find a Letterboxd account that I frequently post on for my other movie podcast, Acclaim and Shame. If you just search Acclaim Shame Pod on Letterboxd, you'll find me. But yeah, Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. I just recommend that you watch it. I absolutely recommend that you watch it. So yeah, I think that's all I want to say about it. In all honesty, I know it's like, what the fuck? Why are we doing this podcast in the first place? And that's very fair. It's very self-indulgent. I understand. And there's not much to pick out here. But yeah. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. You know, if you want to shoot me an email and tell me your thoughts on the movie that we're discussing today, which is, of course, Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny, you can shoot me an email at bigolwallowfilms@gmail.com. And keep in mind, I'm the only one that checks that, and I will definitely respond to you. I will respond to anybody that shoots me an email with their thoughts, and I will read your thoughts out on this show. Okay? That's my pledge to you. Okay? My pledge to you is that I'm going to read your comment or your thoughts in its own little segment. We'll even have an own little segment. So it won't just be the Reverend talking about his dumbass opinion on movies. It will also be your opinions. And keep in mind, if you want to find this movie, you can fucking find it. Don't go through Amazon, because fuck Jeff Bezos in his stupid face. But you can definitely find it on eBay. I know the Exchange, if you have something that is like the Exchange, where it's like a secondhand store that sells like DVDs, CDs, video games, things like that, definitely fucking look for it. You can usually find it for about $5. So it's definitely worth $5. The special features alone are worth $5 in my opinion. So definitely fucking check it out, man. If you haven't, definitely check it out. If you have checked it out and you do hate it, fucking tell me. I want to hear the other opinions. I want to hear, as wrong as they may be. No, I'm kidding. No, everybody's opinion is as valid as they want it to be. I think my opinion's valid enough where I made a fucking podcast about it. So, but yeah, before we bring this episode to a close, I want to talk to you real quick about my rating system. You can also find a written version of this rating system on the Letterboxd at Acclaim and Shame. Acclaim Shame Pod on Letterboxd. You can find a link in the description. But yeah, so the ratings go as followed. If it's a 0.5, I didn't enjoy it. I will turn it off and I will not buy it. If it's a 1 star, I did not enjoy it. I won't choose to watch it, and I will not buy specifically. Now, keep in mind, some cases, because my other podcast that I have, my other movie podcast, which I really needed to continue doing, but my other podcast where we intentionally watch movies that like the critics shat on to determine if they're right, sometimes I'll just buy the movies outright if I can get them cheap enough. Like, I own a copy of Delta Farce for that reason. But that will not buy specifically. A 1.5 means I didn't enjoy it. I won't turn it off. I won't buy it specifically, but possibly in a set. Like, for example, I owned Son of the Mask because I own a double pack of The Mask and Son of the Mask. You know, a case like that. Although I will say I do own Son of the Mask by itself. Not because it's a good film, but it was bought for Acclaim and Shame, so don't judge me. Or judge me. I don't give a fuck. Go ahead. A 2 star is a not memorable. Fine with watching. Probably won't buy it. Case like that, if you're looking for an example, From Paris with Love, with John Travolta. I've watched that movie at least 6 times, barely fucking remember it other than like the meme that came of it with John Travolta sitting at the table and he like shoots the person in the head for expressing their opinion. Things like that. Anything else from the movie? Barely fucking even has a blip in my head. A 2.5, not memorable, fine with watching, possibly buy for super cheap. Case like that, for example, Sharknado. Bought it for $2. If you asked me to pay $10 for that, I would tell you to fuck yourself. A 3-star is an average enjoyable, memorable, even just a little. Probably will buy. 3.5, you're looking at above average enjoyable, decently memorable, and likely will buy. Number 4-star, is definitely liked, will own if not already. Cannot watch anytime. I must specifically choose to watch it. So a case like that it, would probably be There Will Be Blood. You know, There Will Be Blood is an amazing film. It's really awesome in its portrayal of characters. Daniel Day-Lewis, of course, is one of the greatest actors of like the past 100 years. But I have to choose to watch that film. I can't just fucking like sit down and just be like, oh, you know, just throw on There Will Be Blood. No, fuck no. That movie, not only is it depressing as all fuck, but also like, yeah, it's just long, man. Like, a 4.5 is a definitely liked, will own if not already, can watch anytime. So, for example, definitely liked and will own if not already, it can watch anytime film. Something like Willy Wonka, for example. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Very, very easy film to enjoy. And I do own it. So, and of course, you come to a 5-star, which means that it's in my favorites. I will own if not already. I will seek if I cannot find it. I have watched it many times, can watch any time, and will murder your family and steal it from your collection if I don't have it. That is a joke for those authorities listening. For those authorities that might not be listening, it's 100% serious. No, I'm kidding. If I have it watched, but it's also in my watch list, but not rated, that means I've seen it, but too much time has passed to rate it properly. And if I have a like on it, I was happy about watching it at the end. If there's no like, I was either not happy or indifferent, like I could have watched it or not. For those of you that are wondering what my favorite movies are, not only will you experience it when I tell you what 5-star ratings there are, but also my favorites are consistently changing. Because I have a lot of fucking movies. The last count that I had, which is not accurate, mind you, of individual films. This isn't even like DVDs specifically, because I have multiple copies of several DVDs. But I'm at like 923 or something like that. But that's definitely not accurate. It will be accurate at some point. Eventually, I will get to a point where I actually like take the time and add the movies that I've been meaning to add into the collection. You know, basically organizing my fucking bookshelf. But other than that, yeah, I think that's basically going to do it, folks. So the rating for Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny is absolutely a 5. I bought this movie multiple times because I've worn out copies. And I will say that, yeah, I'm absolutely biased because I am a Tenacious D fan, but that's okay. It's okay to be biased, all right? It's okay to be biased because of things that you like. It's okay to have differing opinions. Why don't you tell me yours, all right? I want to hear yours. Talk to me about your opinion on this movie, all right? Shoot me an email. Big ol' wall of film. You can find a link in the description. Big O Wall O Films at gmail.com. Shoot me a message. Put the subject line as to the title of the movie, just so I can, if as more episodes come up, people are still discovering the show or still going back and giving their thoughts on an episode like 5 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Things like that. So just put the subject line of the movie that you're talking about, and I'll read it out on the show. All right. Fair enough. Sounds good. Okay. Excellent. I'm stalling. Anyway, so, yeah. If you're looking to find more from me, you can find me at RevJess_FL Radio on Twitter. You can go to my Instagram, RevJess_Fat Radio. Mainly my Instagram is for posting stupid doodles I do, like Goosebumps covers and everything like that. But yeah, other than that, hit up the Fat Lulz Radio Twitter. If you want to hear more from me in a different type of podcast setting where I actually have a co-host to bounce things off of, check out the Fickle Fanboys on all your favorite podcast platforms. And other than that, folks, I think that's going to do it for this first instance of the big old wall of films. So all in all, that was just another film in the wall. Sounds cheesy as fuck, but I love it. That's going to be our outro message, everybody, unless you think of a different one. We're going to take this experiment and, it's going to be a group project, even though I'm the one that's fucking hosting it. But either way, all in all, it's just another film in the wall. My name is Reverend Jess. This has been the Big Old Wall of Films. You guys take care, okay? Join us here next week on Reverend's Big Old Wall of Films. The film we're discussing. The film we're discussing. The film we're discussing has its own special spot in the big ol' wall of film. The Reverend's Big Ol' Wall of Film.
The Reverend's Big Ol' Wall of Films is brought to you by Fat Lulz Radio and sponsored by Counting Worm Shop and the Rev Just Movie Drop Project.